Hi everyone, this is Selvi. Today we are going to discuss about the topic what is time boxing in Agile and how it is different from estimation. Let's try to understand first of all what is time boxing and then get into an example which is a very simple example so that you can correlate very well the concept, and then two examples from Agile with respect to time boxing. Then we will get into the concept of how it is different from estimation. So let's start with our first part. What is time boxing? Time boxing is fixing a value based on the analysis well in advance to achieve a task or goal. In simple terms, we have a task or a goal to achieve. We are analyzing and fixing the time. What is the maximum value that we need to achieve this goal or to complete this task? We are performing that analysis and calling out that value as a fixed value well in advance. I am going to make this definition very simple with the simple example. Let's consider academic year of schools or universities or colleges. Always if you see, generally, let's take the month of September. Schools start from the month of September and it ends in the month of May. So, students attend the school from the month of September and they will be going to the school till the month of May, and after that we will be having holidays. So, the academic year of the school is from September to May. This is fixed. A particular student have not attended most of the classes in that academic year. One another student is not really ready for the exam. The other student is just performing and getting average grade, and the other student is still failing in the exams. All these students are in different categories. Will any of these situations going to extend the academic year of the school? No, definitely not. It is not going to extend. Okay, this particular student may take another a month and the student will be ready for the exams. So let's give, instead of May, let's postpone the exam to June and close the school by June. No, that's not going to be the thing. So whatever may be the reason, this value is fixed. The academic year of the school is fixed. Any situation is not going to change this value. So, to achieve a goal, the goal here is very simple, right? Students are going to attend the school and they are going to complete their particular class. That is the overall goal. Well in advance it is fixed that the timing is going to be from September to May. It is not going to change. The academic year is not going to change for any reason. This is called as time boxing. So the value is fixed to achieve a goal, and that also well in advance it is done. It's not the decision that we make today. No, it is made well in advance and we are going to achieve the goal, but the value is going to be fixed. Any situation is not going to change this value. Okay, now this example definitely will help you to correlate the concept of time boxing. The value is fixed and well in advance you are planning that, and you will not change this value for any reason. Now, coming to the topic of Agile, two examples I am going to give. The first example is sprint is a time-boxed event. You would have heard this statement in many places. A sprint is a time-boxed event. How and why and what are the benefits? Let's try to understand. Sprint starts on a particular date and it ends on a particular date. For example, if the length of the sprint is 2 weeks, it starts, for example, the 1st of a month, 1st of June it's starting, maybe till 15th of June sprint may be going on. So it's basically 2-week sprint. There are chances that you may be using 3-week sprint as well. So that is actually the length of the sprint. Is this fixed? Yes. Is this already well in advance planned? Yes. What is the goal? To achieve the sprint goal that we are committing as a team. This is actually one of the example for time boxing. Now let's try to understand what exactly happens in sprint and why it is actually, what is the reason why we need to actually time box this. Let's try to understand. First thing, a sprint. How we create a sprint? As a team, during the sprint planning meeting, we actually discuss with product owner a sprint goal, and to achieve the sprint goal, we pull the work items from product backlog and create the sprint backlog. And now, as part of the sprint execution, teams work on all these, team members work on all these sprint backlog items to achieve the sprint goal. Now, let's consider different scenarios. During the sprint execution, we got into a blocker, so one of the work items we are unable to complete. The second work item, due to emergency leave, particular team member was unavailable, so the work item is not completed. In another situation, we got into different issues, different bugs, observations came in, and we are still in the testing phase and we are unable to complete the work item. These are different situations that are happening as part of the sprint execution. Okay, now are we going to extend the sprint period or the sprint length just to ensure these all work items what are in the different status now? Are we going to ensure all these things are ready so that we can close the sprint, we can extend the sprint length so that we can get everything ready and done? No, it's fixed. Regardless of the status of the work item, whatever the part of the goal, whether it is partially achieved or completely achieved or nothing is achieved, still we are going to close the sprint, right? It has a definite start date and end date. It's not going to be something that is extended based on the result or the status of the work item. But why to do this? We can create sprints in such a fashion that no need to have a time boxing. Instead, let's wait for the result, right? We have a sprint goal, we have backlog items in the sprint, which is the sprint backlog. Why can't we wait? If someone is unable to complete or if team is unable to complete on certain work items, let's extend the sprint length. What is harm in doing that? If we are going to do that as a stakeholder, let me consider here, I'm a stakeholder. When I will be actually waiting to get when exactly the time I can get the deliverables? I don't have a definite timeline, right? Because if something is failing or if something is not ready, the sprint is going to extend. So what is exactly the period where I can get the deliverables? I don't have a definite date because it's based on the situation. That is the biggest disadvantage. We cannot plan anything. Now, regardless of whether we are ready with everything or partially done, completely done, nothing is done, it doesn't matter, we are going to close the sprint. And based on the priority, we may start the sprint with the same items which are actually a spillover, or maybe the other items that is a product owner's call. But we are going to close the sprint. So sprint is one of the example where we use time boxing. So sprint is a time boxed event. And why? Because we need to ensure that we as a group able to deliver something at the end of every sprint. If we fail, that's okay. But at least as a stakeholder, I should be knowing when I can get a deliverable from the sprint. If we are keep on working based on the status and not as a time boxed event, that will be going on. And as a stakeholder, I cannot have any commitment that when I will be getting a deliverable. Now, the situation is, as a stakeholder, I know when I will be able to get the deliverable because I know the sprint closure date. I may get everything, I may not get everything in the sprint goal. But that doesn't matter. But at least I know that I will be able to see some some achievement or some kind of deliverable that is coming out of that sprint. That's the reason we just want to ensure sprint is a time-boxed event, and it is not something that is going on as per the status or the completion of a user story or a work item. This is one of the example. I'm going to give one more example where you would have seen the time box spike. First of all, let's try to understand what is a spike. We have different episodes where we have talked about spike. So I recommend people who are unaware about spike concept, please go to those videos or the episodes. I will be just adding those information also in the description. You can just look at those information as part of spike. Now, I'm going to explain in a nutshell what is a spike. Spike is a work item which is basically an exploration topic. What is exploration? When we have lot of uncertainties, when we are not having complete clarity, when we have too many options but we need to come up with one fine-tuned option. For all these things, we need to spend some time as part of exploration. Spike is a work item where we invest time in exploration to find the best result or to remove the uncertainties and to get more clarity. Now, this is spike. So spike is basically a lot of uncertainties. We don't have a clear picture on that. That is what spike is all about, right? Okay. So when you are not having much idea or when you are not having a clear picture of what exactly the thing is, there is a high chance that you may be expanding the boundary of the work that what you are doing, and you will be keep on exploring, right? Exploration is kind of like a task that can extend its boundaries. Now the challenge is we don't have that much of time. I cannot work on a spike forever. Somewhere I need to say that, hey, this is my boundary and this is where I need to start and this is where I need to stop. So for every spike, you should have a definite problem or a definite topic that you are trying to explore. That's number one. So that you can set the boundary. If you are attaching too many goals, if you are trying to solve so many things, if you are trying to clear so many uncertainties, that may not be feasible with a single spike. That's number one. The best practice of creating a spike. Do not associate too many goals in a single spike. All right. Now you have a spike. Now let's try to understand. If you want to tell people, hey, like what is the time that you need to take for the spike? It's slightly a hard thing because you have a goal, of course, but you have a lot of uncertainties, right? You don't know how your journey is going to be, whether you will be really able to solve the problem, whether you can explore the things and come with a great outcome, or you may be getting into a blocker where you cannot even know where to proceed, or there are high chances that you may come up with too many options which may kind of like dilute the whole purpose of the goal because of uncertainties, right? You don't have a clear picture. You are just trying to, out of the uncertainties, you are picking up certain uncertainties as a single goal so that you won't actually create too many things in a single spike. That's the only thing. But now, then how to restrict myself when I'm going to create on a spike, when I'm going to work on a spike, sorry. The point here is, as a team, this generally happens as part of the sprint 0 or the pre-planning event or the planning sprint. We as a team sit together and understand, hey, like our project is very new. We are anticipating good number of spikes in our upcoming sprints. How we can time box this? What is the time that you all want the spike to be worked on? Then team members are saying, hey, let's start with a week time. A week time is just 5 working days. So let's stick to that. How about that? Then team is saying, yeah, that should be the good start. Okay. So as a team, we are coming to the conclusion. We are going to invest 1 week, that is 5 working days for a sprint. This is a call as a team that we are taking. Right? Good. Now we have taken 1 week time. We are well in advance planning this. We are fixing this time, and also we are going to achieve a goal or complete a task. What is this called as? Time boxing. Now, what is the advantage of doing this, and why can't we estimate in story points or something, a spike? Okay. As we discussed, spike is all about uncertainties. Even though you have a goal and you know what are you trying to solve or what are you trying to explore, you have lot of options and you have lot of questions. You are missing too much of clarity. So you are giving yourself just a week time. Whether my spike outcome is going to be negative or positive, or I'm blocked, or I'm unable to proceed, or whatever may be the thing, the spike time that I'm going to invest is not going to change. It's just going to be 1 week. At the end of the 5th day, I'm just going to share the outcome. It can be something, just some exploration options. I'm unable to come to any conclusion. That's fine. Maybe the outcome is negative. That's fine. Maybe the outcome is recommending some implementation. That's also fine. So whatever may be the outcome, however may be the exploration that had gone, you are not going to extend the length of the time that you are going to invest for a spike. It's just a week. And now this is a week. What you will be doing maybe in the future, as like how we can also discuss about the length of the sprint in retrospective meetings. Similarly, you will also be discussing about, hey, team, what are you people feeling? Do we need to extend the spike time boxing time that we have 1 week now? What is the opinion that you all need to share? Then some team members are saying, hey, the product is very new for us, and we are also in the learning phase, and we are seeing that good number of spikes that we are trying to resolve, and always we feel that 5 days is like very, very crucial for us to come to any conclusion, because the nature of the product is like that. Why can't we have it to 2 weeks, and maybe later after a learning period we can reduce it to 1 week? Sounds good. So now people are actually calling out that as an option, and as a team we are going to commit for 2 weeks. So well in advance we are planning this, and we are going to make this as a change, and we are going to have the spike exploration time, that is the time boxing period, is going to be 2 weeks going forward. So this is a fixed value again. Well in advance we are planning, and this is going to achieve a task or a goal. That is a time boxing. So these are the 2 examples I want to share related to time boxing. So again, I'm going to quickly summarize the things that we have learned as part of time boxing. So time boxing is fixing the time that is going to achieve a task or complete a goal, and well in advance we call out that time period, right? And that is the maximum time that may be required to complete that goal. That's how we would have analyzed. That's the fixed time we want to set it. We have gone through the topic of academic year of a school, which is an example where the timeline is very much fixed. It is a time-boxed event starting from September and ending by May. Regardless of the situation, regardless of the conditions, no change in the academic year length. It is going to be fixed. In Agile point of view, we have taken 2 examples. One is sprint, another one is spike. Sprint is a time-boxed event. Spike is a work item which uses time boxing to share the timeline. So sprint is a specific period where sprint starts on a particular day and ends on a particular day. We work on work items during the execution of the sprint. Regardless of the status, wherever we are with respect to the work items, we close the sprint by the last day of the sprint. On the last day of the sprint, we close the sprint. That's it. Whatever may be the status of the work items. Why are we doing this? This gives us a complete picture for a stakeholder that they can expect at the end of the day, on the last day of the sprint, a deliverable, which is a sprint deliverable. It can be an increment, right? It may completely deliver the sprint goal, partially, maybe not, but we are closing the sprint. At least every one of us has a clear understanding that so and so day, which is the sprint last date, we will be delivering a particular functionality. So as a stakeholder, I can look for that date to get some deliverable. This is the advantage of time boxing the sprint. If we are going with the status of the work items, it will be going on forever till we close everything that is available in the sprint. It may or may not be feasible every time. So we are trying to time box it. Coming to spike. Spike is a work item which has a lot of uncertainties. To restrict ourselves and stick to a boundary of what is the goal that we want to explore, we set a specific time and we time box that whole timeline for a spike, so that whether the spike outcome is negative or positive or we are unable to achieve anything, we are just in the exploration, we limit ourselves with those all exploration activities and produce the outcome. The outcome document may have a positive result or may have a negative result. That doesn't change any length that we are going to explore a spike. It is fixed. I think this would have helped you all to understand the time boxing concept and how it is used in Agile. Now I'm going to quickly talk about estimation, how it is different when it compares to when compared to time boxing, right? So time boxing is fixed, whereas estimation is, for example, let's take a very simple example, right? I am planning to visit my friend's house, and I told her, hey, like I'm coming and I'll be reaching by somewhere around 2 p.m. I'll be at your home. I'm driving now. My friend said, okay, fine, Selvi, yeah, please just drive safely and come to my house. Okay, fine. So when I was traveling, actually, I got into some blocker. The blocker is actually, it was a heavy rain, so I was unable to drive. So somewhere in the midway, I kind of stopped my car and I was unable to drive further. And now I know that I'm definitely not going to reach by 2 p.m. Initially my estimate was 2 p.m. because I know that I'm going to drive and I know the actual route I'm going to take. So it's going to be very easy for me to estimate it. But now getting into this blocker, I don't know like how things are going to be. So after some time, I called my friend again and checked, hey, this is what happened. I'm kind of blocked. Are you free in the evening or shall I actually shall I meet you some other day? She said, hey, no issues. Just come, no problem. Okay. So again, I'm starting and I reached somewhere around 5 p.m. So there is a change, but my goal at least was, I achieved my goal, actually speaking. This is the estimation concept, right? So estimation is something that we actually considering different factors. We estimate, hey, this is the time that you can expect that the work will be done. But situations may get into a place where we may not be able to achieve the result by the estimation value that we have provided. So we may need to extend the estimation. In certain situations, it may also happen in a way where You may be completing well in advance also, right? Or you may be just going with the same value what you have shared also. So estimation, these are the different options how you will achieve a goal. So here, let's take for user stories. User stories we estimate, right? We don't time box user stories. Why? Because user stories have a certain goal, because we are very clear about our goal and what we need to achieve, right? Because user stories explain about a requirement, and it explains also about the with the help of acceptance criteria, we know what we need to achieve. All the details are available, right? So we know what is our goal as part of the user story, and we are very clear what we need to deliver. So we are estimating because we have all information. We know the dependencies, we know the risk, we know the complexity, we know the value that we are going to deliver, we know how much work we need to invest. Every detail we are aware of, and we are preparing the estimation of a story. And we are sharing that, hey, this is the story point. But during the sprint execution, it's actually like not going as per the plan. We got into some blockers which were not at all identified earlier. So we are getting into some stage where we are unable to move. It's actually delaying the process. But goal is not achieved, right? We are blocked. And we are also at the end of the sprint. Now what we do? We call this as a spillover because we are unable to achieve the story as per the plan. Are we going to kill the story, or are we going to delete that particular requirement? No. We are going to check with our product owner in the next planning. Hey, product owner, what's the priority of this work item? Is that still high? Can I continue, or can we continue as a team? Or you want to pull some other item based on the sprint goal? Now it's product owner's call to explain about the priority, and if it is a priority item, we will pick that up as part of the next sprint and we work on that. So till the goal is achieved, we will be extending. Maybe we have already completed the estimate what we have initially planned, but our target is to completely achieve the goal of the user story. So we are aiming for that, and we are achieving that in the next sprint. This is estimation. So wherever we have clarity of information and where we are knowing what is the goal that we need to achieve, even Spike has a goal, but we have a lot of uncertainties. So there are high chances we may be extending our boundaries, and we cannot restrict ourselves with the specific goal because options are more. It's an exploration. Here it is all about implementation, and we know that this is the goal that we are trying to achieve as part of the story. So it's going to be pretty simple. So here we have a clear idea of what we are going to deliver, and we are working on that. So this is estimation. So always for Spike, it's a best practice to go with time boxing. And for stories, as we have good level of information and lot of clarity, and we know the goal, what we need to achieve, it's the best to estimate it. In time boxing, whether we achieve the goal or we don't achieve the goal, whether we are partially done, whatever may be the situation, whether we have the Spike outcome, negative, positive, whatever may be the thing, as per the time boxing, we produce the outcome of the Spike, and we will be closing that because we have time box for a week. But here, as actually I called my friend and checked whether I can proceed with my journey, or are you free, whether I can come to your home. Same way, we are checking with the product owner what is the priority, and if the priority is going to be good and it's holding high, then we are going to take the work item in the next sprint and proceeding to work on that. So user stories, as we have a lot of information with good level of clarity, we estimate, and our goal here is to complete the story with the done state. It should be accepted by our product owner. So I think it's a very important topic to understand what is actually time boxing and what is estimation and how it is different. I hope this episode would have helped most of you with these concepts. Thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned. Please subscribe to the channel, and we have a lot of uh, different topics coming in product management, project management, and interview questions. So please subscribe and also hit the notification so that you won't miss any kind of topic here. Thank you all.